Again.
We've got Jim Olson here running against Christine Rolfes. Is it Rolfes or Rolfs?
Well, it's actually Nasser, but she goes by Rolf as.
See, I've always thought it was Rolfes, but a lot of people are saying Rolfs right now, and it's confused me.
That has a ring to it.
Anyway, in the 23rd district, and what we'll do is we'll just go around and introduce ourselves, and we're just going to go one question, question number 2, question number 3,
Okay.
and around.
I'm ready.
Start with Tom.
I guess.
I'm Tom Anderson,
Hello, Tom.
and the question I have for you is, what is the function of government?
The function of government, boy, that's a tall one. But probably at its basic, to provide the infrastructure for an orderly society. It's the underpinning, provides for the security, the military, again I'm talking about, say, the federal government or the larger government, to help us order human behavior. I think that people left to their own, we would have anarchy. Some are people, we don't need any government, we can do by, so government is to provide certain structure, a crucible to hold human behavior and provide a minimum amount of functions. That's what it's supposed to be, not what it is.
I'm Doris Carringer.
Hi, Doris.
Why do you want to be elected to the position, and what would your primary goals be?
Okay. Well, another good question. I've been in the trenches with the Republican Party for a number of years. I cut my teeth on a number of campaigns, which I could have said they were successful ones, but they weren't, and I certainly learned a lot of lessons about how hardball's played and whatever. So anyway, that's some general background that I have. I enjoy politics, I enjoy people, I enjoy horse trading, I enjoy making things right. I don't have a firm grasp on exactly what's right, but I have a good sense of it. So the reason I decided to run, besides some phone calls from some friends, was that things were out of control. Things were out of control on a variety of fronts, particularly having to do with the former question, Tom's question about government. The size of government, the cost of government, the encroachment of government, the nanny state, me go on and on and on. So I don't fool myself that I'm going to solve world hunger. This is a state position. However, I think that the Republican minority there, and they have become a majority, needs some people who have good core principles, I think as fiscal conservatives, perhaps social conservatives too. But anyway, has those core values and about limited government that can try to stem what's going on. Again, the $3 billion shortfall, we know it, you know all the talking points that's going on with the state of Washington. So that's why I was running. I have a number of people, I blog frequently, I have lots of admirers, not. But they say, well, if you're so smart, why don't you run? Well, somebody has to do it. And the thing that at yesterday's interview with the Concepcion, the first one, I hammered away on a point that I am not a career politician. When I have an opportunity, I'll talk a little bit about my background, but I'm not a career politician. Ms. Rolfes has every intention of being a career politician. She cut her teeth on the Bainbridge City Council. They drove that into the ground, had a jolly good time doing that back on our island, as I refer to Bainbridge. So somebody needed to challenge Ms. Rolfes, and so anyway, enough. Stop me anytime, please. My wife can't, but you're more than welcome to tell you that.
Okay. My name is James Carringer, and my question is, what are the most critical issues facing government today, and how will you contribute to the solutions? A two-part question.
Okay. And James, when you say that, I mean, again, in general, we're talking about government. I mean, we tend to think about it different things. If you happen to be in a little village, you think about your village government, and if you happen to be in the county, you think about Josh Brown, or you happen to be, you know, at the state.
One of the things that I would suggest is that, as we learned earlier from some other discussion, that the state government regularly works in conjunction with the federal government, for example. So I think you could tie those two together to a certain degree.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll call them the big governments, the big ones, the big players. The critical issues, well, the debt. The federal debt that we have is absolutely staggering. I mean, it will just knock your socks off. I have 4 kids, two of them relatively young and 2 of them, you know, in their 20s. It's not good. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for anybody here with our retirements and what we're going to be able to do in the future. You know, you go through the whole litany of the things that are going wrong having to do with the economy. That's tied in, again, to big government.
Is there some place at some point as a state legislator where you would stop taking federal money?
Oh. I think in some certain selective areas, yes. Whether I would come in, I can be arrogant and foolish beyond all imagination. So before I could say no, take no federal money, I'm not sure. But I do know that with the bait comes the hook. And in terms of transportation, you know, who's going to drive, when you're going to drive, what speed you're going to drive, who's going to give you your energy, whether it's BPA and what stuff come with that. Be careful. There's a Faustian bargain with all those federal dollars that we have to be really careful. And again, we just can't secede from the union. They went through that. That's not going to happen. But nevertheless, you can be very wary about federal money. And if over the entire country, all the states exercise their flexibility, as some people did. I think it was Governor Sanford before he went to South America with his firecracker, was reluctant to take some of the stimulus money. And again, you get people back at the state saying, "Well, you're crazy. It's free money. It's a grant. It's magic money. It just comes from nowhere." No, it doesn't. Actually, it's all the people's money. But because it's other people that you're not looking in the face of, you feel like you're entitled to it. So we should try to wean ourselves away from that. And that would go on down the things that was the big government, the state and the federal, the county. We saw the papers yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Josh Brown and his cohorts. The devil's going to make them do it. You know, a tax increase for the following year. In other words, that's our local government, the county government, that wants to grow. And again, I can't speak too much for Paulsville and the others, but I know Bainbridge is bankrupt. So these governments, big and little, need to get back to the core missions of what they're supposed to do, and not every manner of cockamamie social engineering, like banning McDonald's Happy Meals because you want to save the kids or save people from drinking bottled water. Please. That's silly. So, and as to my solution, I don't know. I don't have the solution. I proffered some ideas yesterday, apparently Christine Rolfe has called up the Gregoire and told her I suggested we privatize the ferry service. So she had a press release this morning promptly announcing that. But, you know, or the prison systems and things like that. We need to try doing it, empowering the private sector and getting the government out of the racket, because it's going to eat us alive. It is eating us alive. So my solution would be a voice of no. No really doesn't carry the day. I could come up with probably some decent ideas as I get my feet on the ground, but certainly no. No, or HELL, no, you know, on some of these things can slow things up and help buck up if it's still the minority party, the Republican Party, or whatever party it is. Because the Democrats, you know, they're just going to come back again and they're just going to roll us.